The manga, The Summer Hikaru Died, has exploded in popularity among Gen Zers through social media platforms like TikTok and Twitter. Its momentum shows no signs of slowing down, surpassing 200,000 copies sold in just 3 months after the release of its first volume. It is currently nominated in the web manga category for the Next Manga Grand Prize 2022.
Horror? Bromance? How did this work, which captivates readers with its profound, hard-to-define narrative and overwhelmingly high artistic quality, come to be? I interviewed the author, Mokumokuren. Janmai.
First, could you tell us what sparked the idea for The Summer Hikaru Died?
The initial idea came to me when I was in high school. I was studying for entrance exams when it suddenly occurred to me, wouldn't it be great if there was a manga like this? That would be interesting. I wasn't aspiring to be a manga artist back then, but I've always loved thinking up stories and detailed settings.
How did you then progress from that to serialization?
It was like building the story I wanted to read in my head. So at first, I had no intention of showing anyone. That's why, for several years after the idea came to me, I didn't even write it down, let alone draw it. Then, around January last year, I happened to have some free time, so I tried drawing what was in my head. When I posted those drawings on Twitter, they went viral, and that's how the editorial department reached out to me.
Even before Volume 1 of the comic was released, cosplay videos of the characters were posted on TikTok and became a hot topic. How did you feel when you experienced that TikTok buzz?
Suddenly, the reactions on Twitter got really good, and I was like, what's going on? Then I found out it seemed to be buzzing on TikTok, so I downloaded the TikTok app for the first time and started watching videos. At first, I was a bit surprised by the generational gap, like, this is how kids are these days? But then I started looking at the comment sections on the videos, and I felt something similar to how I was back in high school. It made me feel nostalgic, thinking, some things never change, no matter the era.
Could you share any comments that stood out to you?
There were various comments, but some said things like, this author definitely has spiritual sensitivity, or I'm worried about this author's well-being, which are concerns for me. Also, I don't remember where I saw this, but a reader apparently had their father read the work, and the father said, I saw ghosts like this when I was young too. That was a bit funny.
Besides cosplay videos, renowned manga reviewing TikTokers were also heavily promoting this work, right?
I think various videos related to The Summer Hikaru Died were trending. The manga reviewing TikTokers gave really detailed explanations about the work's appeal and where to read it, which was incredibly helpful. Thanks to that, it wasn't just a fleeting trend. It genuinely led people to the work itself, and our readership grew.
Did the TikTok buzz change your Twitter follower base?
After the TikTok buzz, I saw a huge increase in comments from younger readers on Twitter too. Before that, I felt like my audience was mostly adults, so it's really wonderful to have younger readers now. It feels like they'll keep reading for a long time, and I hope The Summer Hikaru Died becomes a part of their youth. Personally, I still love the manga I enjoyed when I was in middle and high school, and they've had a huge influence on me, so I'd be thrilled if my work could become that kind of thing for them.
By the way, what kind of works did you like during your student days?
I absolutely loved Tokyo Ghoul and read it like crazy. I read all sorts of other things too, but I was really drawn to battle-type manga like Weekly Shonen Jump and Weekly Young Jump.
The Summer Hikaru Died isn't about battles, though. It leans more heavily into human drama and horror elements, right?
While I preferred reading battle-focused manga, my overall preference has always been horror. Ever since I can remember, I've absolutely loved horror. I watched horror movies and read horror novels constantly. Maybe because of that influence, I've always had this desire to create horror myself.
Could you share some of your favorite horror works?
I watched a lot of really scary stories. I also loved the TV drama Shin Mimi Bukuro. I feel pretty influenced by those. Also, I absolutely love the movie Kuru and its source material, Bogiwanga Kuru, plus horror novels like Shishiriba no Ie by Ichi Sawamura. Just the words themselves, like bogiwan or shishiriba no ie, make you go, huh? What's that? And that's scary, right? I like works where the supernatural or the so-called ghostly elements have this unexplainable creepiness to them.
From the ku scene, I felt that unexplained creepiness Mokumokuren sensei mentioned. It was really scary. Lol.
This is influenced not only by the previously mentioned Honkoa and Shinmimi Bukuro, but also by the two-check occult board Scary Stories That Aren't Even Vaguely Funny, which I absolutely love.
In terms of art, do you have any particular focus for horror expression?
What I often get praised for is how I draw onomatopoeia. I really want to use expressions you don't see often, like shower. But I'm very conscious about whether that actually works effectively as an expression.
So even in the rough sketch stage, there was already an overwhelming amount of shawa.
I wanted readers to really see this onomatopoeia to heighten the sense of dread. While you could draw these sounds by hand, typesetting makes them impossible to ignore, so I thought this approach was better. Also, my handwriting might have softened the horror, which was another reason I chose typesetting.
I sense an extraordinary dedication to visual expression, like wanting readers to really notice the onomatopoeia.
I put a lot of thought into that. When there's something I want readers to notice, like onomatopoeia, I consciously consider the proportion in which it catches their eye.
How about character depictions?
I don't use expressions like bulging veins or beads of sweat much. For example, if there's a scene where someone is shocked or flustered and leaves the room, I might have them bump into a chair as they leave, causing it to crash down with a clatter. I want to express that emotion through actions, not marks like bulging veins or beads of sweat. That means sound becomes quite important, even though it's a different kind of expression from the onomatopoeia we discussed earlier.
We've talked a lot about horror elements, but how do you balance that with bromance elements like the friendship and affection between Yoshiki and Hikaru?
Honestly, I'm holding back on the horror. Sometimes I wish I could draw something scarier. But rather than just making it relentlessly terrifying, I want to draw something that appeals to the emotions. Like, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Also, in terms of appealing to those emotions, horror and bromance might actually be a bit similar.
Horror and bromance are similar?
That sense of similarity might be close to the suspension bridge effect. In psychology, it's the idea that you're more likely to develop romantic feelings for someone you meet in a place where you feel intense anxiety or fear, like on a suspension bridge. In horror, it's that heart-pounding feeling of not knowing what terrifying thing will happen next. In bromance, it's that same heart-pounding feeling of, oh no, when you've had a fight with a friend and the atmosphere is tense. Because the physiological arousal of that heart-pounding feeling is the same, you might misattribute the cause. Actually trying to draw it, I really feel like horror and bromance have a high affinity.
Tell us about your favorite scenes or scenes you struggled with.
The last scene of Volume 1. Since it wraps up the volume, I really focused on the pacing and rhythm. As for struggles, I always have a hard time thinking about the story structure. I come up with lots of things I want to draw and ideas, but I agonize over connecting each one, like which story should I tackle first, and piecing it all together. So I work on it while consulting with my editor. What should readers look forward to next? Chapter 11, releasing July 26th. I poured my heart and soul into drawing it.
Editor, from the rough draft meeting stage for Chapter 11, I knew this is going to be amazing artwork, and it truly delivered. Everyone, please look forward to it.
Finally, please share a message for our readers.
Only Volume 1 has been released so far, and the story is truly just at the very beginning. So, being nominated for the next Manga Grand Prize 2022 Web Manga category in this state makes me feel both humbled and incredibly grateful. Moving forward, new characters are scheduled to appear, and I think they're going to be really great characters. So, I'd be happy if you could continue to watch over us warmly.